he's not going to be here, but I'm glad everybody else is. So let me call the meeting to order. This is the Real Estate and Open Space Committee. It's November 21st, and we're in regular session. There is no executive session today. So are there any public comments? We just seem to have people from Town Hall. Sometimes we have public. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for October 17th?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded? Any discussion?
Just a comment that, I just said this to Carol, that it was a long, complicated discussion at the last meeting, and I thought she did a wonderful job
Yes.
of summarizing it in the minutes, so, yeah.
It was.
Thank you. Thanks.
It was a tough one, and I thank you, Carol.
Yeah. Oh, and thanks for your help, Dave.
It's nice to have good minutes once in a while, because I don't take notes during the meeting.
Right.
Too busy watching everything else, and I really rely on minutes to tell me, oh, that's what happened. So, anyway, can I have a, let's see, now we can do this as voice vote, I assume?
Yeah.
Is
Just a
that
voice
right?
vote,
Yeah. Aye.
Yeah, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seems to be unanimous. Okay, new business. We're going to have a discussion with Anthony, and is it Schiavi or? Skiavi, it is Skiavi, okay. Because I heard that on Monday's meeting, and I was like, oh, maybe, okay.
The age is a K.
Okay, okay, thank you very much, Tony. Our acting, Tony Schiavi is acting town administrator, as we all know, and we want to have a discussion. Will you please come up to the table to talk about two things. One is, some problems that we've had over the last, well, my 11 years on the committee, but it looks like it went back even farther than that, of things that we had recommended, we were told it was going to be done and wasn't. So, and I'm going to let Elaine talk about that. And then I want to get from you, how do you see the committee? But, we'll get to that in just a second. Let's see. Let me just, ask, because this committee has been around for a long time in terms of long-term members. Elaine came on before me.
Yeah.
Or after me, or very close with and thing. Margot's been on it since, and then off it, and then on it again.
1998? Yeah.
Kathy?
2011.
Brett and Carol are newbies now, so.
I don't remember the exact date, but it's been at least 5 years,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
6 or 7, probably.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have a lot of experience. It's been wonderful working with these people, because some of these people, like Margot and Kathy, have been on it longer than I have and know a lot about the town. So I just want you to go around and understand some of our backgrounds, and because it's a very balanced committee. We have experience, and we'll talk about the one member who's not here. Brett, I'm going to start with you. Just, what's your background, what you're doing now, and why you like to be on the committee?
So I'm Brad Hinote. I've been here since last year. I'm the assessor in the town of Orleans. I was looking for a committee, so Don Howell put me up for this one when I interviewed, and it's been interesting. It's been a lot of old business. This has been a lot of looking at the same parcels and listening to HCT presentations on properties they'd like to pursue, but from a value perspective, these lots are interesting to consider. That's what I do.
Kathy Green, I don't know if I have any background.
Oh, you have a lot of
Seriously.
background, Kathy.
When I joined, Dick Thomas was the chair. And within a week of joining, I was the CPC rep. So I'm the representative to Community Preservation Committee. And I have been for all except for maybe 14 months when I got off, but then they sucked me back in. So So I've got some longevity, not as much as Margot, but I've been chair, and I've been vice chair, and I've been clerk, and I've been everything else, so
Yeah.
that's it.
And I came on the committee right after the land bank passed in the late 1990s. And as I told you, I worked at the Cape Cod Commission and also, have been involved in various things here in town, including the local planning committee. So, this is like the most important thing I think that I do. Looking to the future of the town, both in terms of what we need to protect and where it is, advisable to develop. And, Dave probably has, he's done a tremendous amount of mapping for us and has worked with the assessors department a lot on that. And so the committee, I think as a whole, has a lot of sort of institutional understanding of the actual land and layout of Harwich. And, it's been really fun to be part of that.
Elaine?
Elaine Shovelin. I've been on since 2014, I think. At one time served as chair before Dave. And I was always proud of this committee because it is a well-balanced, knowledgeable committee. And people are very dedicated. I mean, it's not like they walk out when this meeting is over and go home and see you next time. Always working on something, always researching and working on things. Personally, it took me a while to come up to speed because coming from a different state, the concept of owners unknown and miscellaneous were like foreign. But I've caught on. I'm still a little on some things, but it's always been a pleasure to serve on this committee.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Carol Porter, and I've been here about, 5 to 7 years, I feel exactly. But I worked for an international company for years, and when I retired, I wanted to get to know Harwich a little better. I've lived in Harwich for 40 or 50 years. And so I got on this committee. To tell you the truth, I thought it might be an easy introduction, and it hasn't been. It's been a very busy introduction, and that's good. But what impressed me when I started getting involved in the town was how much volunteers, very knowledgeable, experienced volunteers help this town. You don't think about it when you're not, involved. And so, yeah, my lean is probably towards affordable housing, not as a member of this committee, but personally. And I'm not on any of the affordable housing committees or anything, but that's not what's most important to me, but it is important to me. Thanks.
And I thank Carol for that bent, because we frequently get criticized for being, we just do conservation, and that's
Right.
not our feeling at all. I'm Dave Callahan, Chair, sadly. And as Margo mentioned, I do a lot of the mapping work. My background's in IT. I ended up, when I first joined the committee, David Spitz came in with maps that were colored. And, oh, this is neat, look at the stuff, how do you build them? So I ended up, and I'm a big volunteer down at Harwich Conservation Trust. Turns out that they had a copy of ArcMap. Long story, but anyway, I basically build the maps because the town no longer has an ArcGIS system. So, at least that's available to us. So, and I find them very, very interesting. In the presentation you saw on Monday, it was, from me, I spotted a couple of parcels, and as they say, I do a lot of work with Mike, but I had spotted these things, and I proposed it to the committee, and next thing you know, Mike's off running around putting together some high-powered folks to help out. So, that's what our background is, and you can see it's very, the one person who's not here is a real estate agent. We've always had a real estate agent on the committee, and it's valuable. They have insights that the rest of us don't. So with balance, we're really trying to look at the whole That being said, we have made a number of presentations over the years, and I'll let Elaine kind of fill in. She's done her homework on it,
Well-
probably better than I have. But it's the type of thing to show you know, where things didn't get done that were supposed to be.
Yeah, well, things became very discouraging because we wound up, all of us did a lot of work, a lot of time spent. I won't go back all the way to the years, but just even from 2019, we all worked together to identify parcels that we thought might be of interest to other segments of our town government. In the past, we always sent out, once a year, we sent out a letter to the Water Department, Conservation, Recreation, Housing, to see if there was any needs that they might have that we could look for properties that might be of interest to them, that they could be interested in having. We started working on the tax lien list, looking at owners unknown, looking at properties that the taxes owed were 2 or 3 times more than the actual assessed value of the property, and maybe it had been on the list for so many years it was, beyond reason. So we took it, focused on that, and we started out, and we have, when we looked, property came to our attention, we devised an evaluation form. We have a basic one, and we have one that was specific to conservation. And Amy Usowski often came with us. We walk the properties. We evaluate them. We check everything off. And then we come back and have a discussion, and we determine, is it suitable for housing? Would it be suitable for conservation? And then make those recommendations. So in December 17th, 2021, we went to the Board of Selectmen. And we had made up a spreadsheet identifying the properties that we had been looking at, and then we're recommending, but we also prioritized them. So we marked our top priorities. These are the ones you really should be looking at. Some of them, maybe near the water department, near wells, that were being threatened by development creeping closer. And as Dave pointed out, you could see the land was starting to get nibbled away. And we thought, this is urgent. This is something that needs to be, 2021. Made that presentation. Reaction from the select board was, this is wonderful. The work you've done is great. Oh, look at, oh yes, definitely. We still have the list. It's still the same. And it just died on the vine. And that's what gets us discouraged. So we get regenerated again, and we start going out, because we're trying to be proactive. We're not waiting for stuff to come to us. We've always gone out to see what we can do to take action. And so we do it again. And now we have another list. And it's just discouraging if nothing happens. And
So, if I may, through the
Yeah, go
chair,
ahead, please.
so December 2021, has there been any other presentations since that time to the board?
yeah.
I mean, then and now on the same subject, or was it kind of a one and done?
Well, we have given the presentation to the board twice.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a date in here, but I'm
It's
a
not,
little scatterbrained these days because
It's not that
I'm working on 3
recent.
projects.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I know you made a list of all of these situations. But yes, we made the presentation to the board twice. I think one of them was it was the 17, and there was one around 20, was it the 20,
22, I
21,
think,
22?
2, yeah,
in that time frame?
January.
Pretty much the same property, okay? We used the maps and so forth so that they could get a thing. In bookcases, it was not done. And
Well,
and that's not the only issue, but.
but to give credit, our previous liaison, Mr. McCaskill, came as our liaison and was very interested in working on the owners unknown and properties that could be maybe disposed of and the earnings used to acquire some of these other properties. So we were kind of gung-ho with that for a while, and then again, times change.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, well, let me start off by, I'm a short timer, right? So I
I
have
know,
60
I know.
days left, so I kind of manage expectations that I'm probably not going to move the goalpost too far for you guys in 60 days. But I think it's a discussion that needs to rise back up to the top, right? I think when we look at the town, and I've been involved, not so much in when I was in Bourne, because most of that time was during COVID, there wasn't a lot happening. But I can tell you during my time in Ashland, the subject of acquiring parcels for, whether it's conservation, whether it's for housing, whether it's in resource protection areas, right, for water and those type of things, was a major focus of the town at the time. And part of that is taking a strategic view of all the different opportunities that might be out there. So certainly starting with an inventory, which sounds like you've done a lot of that already, and sort of prioritize maybe in those particular buckets. But I would also say, as we look at that, is, how do we, partner with other organizations like conservation trusts and things like that? Because when you look at it in total, the town may not necessarily be able to go out and either purchase all these properties, or if we do the research and we decide to do an eminent domain taking, that obviously if there's an owner there has to be compensation and things like that. And so how do we blend that, together to ensure that we're protecting those parcels that make the most impact, and then look at other parcels that may be available for other uses, and who is in the best position to acquire and hold the, care, custody, and control of those, whether it's the town, whether it's perhaps the trust, like we heard in the presentation the other night, to sort of take parcels that are already under the select board's control and perhaps allocate those more appropriately, whether it's to the Conservation Commission or whether it's to the, water department for those parcels near, water recharge areas and those type of things. So I think when you get into looking at owners unknown, there's a lot of back-end work that has to go in on the back end of that. I saw what happened with just the parcel that we were looking at off Queen Anne Road in Pleasant Lake with a affordable housing project for a parcel that's in there, and the amount of time it took to do all of that research and all of that. And the town did a couple of years back through a property sale, took part of the proceeds of that and put into a warrant article an amount of money to help, in that effort to be able to go in and try to do more research and figure out how the town may best, look at potentially acquiring some of the properties that are probably on your list. I don't know any of the, background on why things, didn't happen after that. A lot of these will take town meeting action at some point, so there's all of that follow-through. I would probably guess that some of it may be staff limitations and other things. We've had a discussion about how difficult it is sometimes to even find people to do this title research stuff. That's not really a organic capability that we have. Certainly some of the private developers are out there, have resources, and we've seen the result of some of that as they've acquired some of those parcels for their desires in terms of development. So how does the town get out in front of some of that? So there is some difficulty finding people that actually, will do this work and can do this work. And so I'm kind of trying to do a little bit of research of who the town's used in the past and whether they're, still available and doing that type of title research, and going back and trying to really get to the bottom line on some of those parcels that might be of interest. So I certainly feel your pain trying to move the football on some of this stuff. But I think we have a new board now, right? So boards can change on a yearly basis, depending on who's coming off and who's coming on, or how the election, thing happens. So I think at the very least, on a yearly basis, right, is to kind of refresh the boards on some of this stuff and see where, where they want to, focus some of the attention and try to pick some of these off, I guess. And again, some of that happens privately. So I live in East Harwich, right? So the property that Judy Miller, I think, I don't know if it was bought by the Conservation Trust, but there was and so looking at parcels that connect to other pieces, right? So we try to have contiguous spaces and don't have protected area, and then all of a sudden you have a development that goes in, right? So how do we, if some of those parcels are more advantageous to others because they connect other pieces that we already have in protection, whether it's the town's protection or under, perhaps something like the Conservation Trust, right, and the work that they do. I don't know if that's part of how you prioritize, but.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, may I, through you? One of the areas we focused on was East Harwich, and the Sandpit area, Hall's Path, and that whole area. And we had researched all around, and we knew which properties, and some of them could be used for development, some could be used for housing, some could be used for, I'm sure Dave has the map there. So we've looked at that with that intent, that knowing that that whole area then is connected from Hawksness Park back to the Sandpit and all around that Hall's Path area.
Right.
We've done extensive into that area, and we thought it was needed to be looked at. But again, as you say, there are other people who are already property owners in that area and are, divvying up the
Right.
lots.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Yeah.
because we didn't act. You snooze, you lose, and that's what's happening.
And I think that's where, as we work on the local comprehensive plan, and is really, a sense of, in terms of the community, right, the value that they put on, sort of blending, sort of a responsibility to protect some of our open space, but also understand that there's going to be some level of development, whether it's, commercial, residential, affordable, right? Some of that will go on, and how do we balance those needs out, and at the same time, make sure we're protecting our resource-sensitive, areas of town. And so how do those, and so the local comprehensive plan, part of that is what is the community's vision of itself looking forward, and what do we want to be, and what do we want to look like, and so how do we best position ourselves? I think sometimes, because government is a little cumbersome, we often get beat to the punch a lot of times, because we're not necessarily as flexible and reactive, or able to react as quickly. If an opportunity comes up today and you got to go to town meeting in May, anything can happen between now and then, so sometimes we get beat out on some of these things just because of the slowness and how we're set up to operate. And so I think it's best to try to get out in front of some of these things as much as we can, so that we can take advantage of them and not sort of get beat to the punch, if you will, particularly for our most, sensitive areas that we have.
Well, that's why originally that fund was set up with that initial $500,000. That was, with the intent of using that to do the research and then a couple properties that were sold on Queen Anne Road. The money from that was also supposed to be into that fund again to build it up, so we would be, or the town would be able to use that for
Right.
research and
Yeah.
getting properties.
Yeah, I think the last I looked, I think it was like $483,000 in that account right now. A little bit of it had been used for something, I don't know what, but its balance is about 483, the one I found.
Oh, okay, because those properties on Queen Anne Road, the intent was that money was to go into that fund too. And one of them, was $850,000, so I don't know where that money is, but,
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look,
Yeah,
town meeting
I know.
articles and stuff to see how specific it was. I don't
Yeah,
see that
let's not get
in
into
there, yeah. Certainly happy to look into it, but I think at the outset, perhaps if you can share at least the most recent prioritized list and work that you've all done with me, so I can, because I haven't seen it.
okay.
I'm happy to take a look at it. I think with some of these, it comes down to, all right, who's the belly button that's going to be, if the board or whoever decides they want to pursue something, okay, who gets tasked with making that? I think sometimes these things float around out there, and everybody's going, okay, who got tagged to be the, the point of contact, or the chief advocate for moving something forward? Sometimes that gets lost, and so everybody looks around and go, well, it wasn't me, and nobody does it because nobody knows who was, tasked with doing it. So I always try to follow these things up. Okay, if we're going to do something, who's the lead agent to, try to get it to move forward? So, I mean, it's possible that could be part of the reason, but.
I think part of what we were hoping for was that at least some of that money could be used for hiring a title search person within the assessor's office, that would be their sole function, not having to do, the other work of the assessor's office. And as you know, there's been a lot of turnover in town staff, and I think a staffing shortage has been a part of this. But I also think it's that the select board has so much on their plate, you know, doing so many different things, and it wasn't a priority for them. And yet, at the same time, people are talking about, you know, this pressing need for affordable housing, and we identified some places that could be very suitable for that. You know, in locations where there's good infrastructure and, you know, the ability to develop without, you know, being able to hook into the sewer. And I think we were hoping, and I think the local planning committee would agree with this, that the town would take a more proactive role in trying to direct where new growth goes in town, rather than just waiting and seeing who gets it, what comes in from the private sector.
So you get, so you that falls right into my philosophy about failure to plan means you get planned upon.
Right.
Right? And so, yeah, you have to be forward-thinking and out in front, right? And so when I think about development, it's appropriate development in appropriate places. And again, not so much in Bourne, but in Ashland, we were able to really effectively do that by staying out in front of, you know, I'll call it the high potential for development parcels. And some of those were in areas of town where we were focused a lot on conservation and things like that. And so when these parcels, and granted, they weren't owned as unknown and fallen, but they were owned, right? So I also believe in private property rights. If you own a piece of property, you should be able to sell it or whatever. But we were out in front of that and knew which ones were areas that we were interested in having, I'll say some degree of control of what happened. So when the parcel I'm talking about came up for sale, we immediately went to talk to the owner of the property to ask if we could, perhaps put something out that they might consider that would be good for the town. And so we ended up doing that. Thankfully, the gentleman that owned the property was, I don't know if he was the president, but he was on the Sudbury Valley Conservation Trust, so he knew where we were coming from and had that mindset that we love. And we were able to put him together with a developer that did a project that the town highly influenced and protected a whole bunch of open space, wildlife trails. A part of the property was protected for conservation and open space. And so that was, I call it sort of the public-private partnership, right? Because the town was involved, it required a zoning change. And so we were able to work with the other two entities, right? The person that wanted to buy the property, the person selling the property, and inputting in what the town's vision was and what they were interested in protecting in that large, area. And it was a huge win. And we went to the town for a town meeting because, we had to change zoning. And put the whole thing out there about what we were doing and how we were protecting. The town had 101 acres across the street that we had bought for protection of open space and conservation. So we connected those together, but at the same time met an important housing need the town had, and we had influence on exactly what that came out to look like. Because if you wait till when somebody goes before the planning board or the zoning board of appeals, you've lost at that point more or less, because if you try to influence the size, the density, whatever else it is that's important to the town in that process, you got to do it before that. And for these projects, we, as a town, went before the ZBA on a different one, and the planning board as advocates for the project, right? I mean, you hardly ever see that. It's basically the developer against not against, but, in the planning board, and the town's nowhere around. When I say the town, I mean the select board and administration and others that are interested in that. So we've got to do better at getting out in front so that we don't get planned upon. So hoping it's going to come out right doesn't work. I think I heard on the radio, Winston Churchill said, failure to plan is planning for failure, right? So similar to what I was just saying, and you get planned upon. So I wish I had all the answers on that. It's not an easy thing, but we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
That's just philosophy more than.
You got anything?
Um,
I don't want to hold you up too long.
No, that's okay.
Well, back in 2011, when I started on the committee, I was working with Dave Spitz, who was the planner at the time. And some of the same stuff we talked about then,
Yeah.
still have on our list. And not only have we made recommendations and presentations in front of the Board of Selectmen and sent letters, and it's been a variety of things covering from owners unknown and miscellaneous and tax lien to prioritizing, conservation or preservation, regarding the water department and conservation, that kind of thing. But I think one of the frustrating things for us is that we don't ever get a definitive anything. So if we make a presentation and they agree or disagree, it would be nice for us to know. I mean, like, if they are firmly against, I think one year we proposed putting part of the town forest into conservation. And we got immediate feedback that that was partially used for the firing range or something like that, and, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. We got to know, we could move it off the list, whatever. So it would be nice if we were able to get some yay or nay to what we propose. Not everything's going to be able to be addressed. Things need time, things need to be fleshed out. We've got this title research stuff that doesn't seem to go anywhere, but, it would be nice, just so we know what direction we should go in. If they don't want any of the parcels to be moved into water or conservation for further protection, they should just say so. Then we
Right.
can be done with it.
Right. Yeah, and I think, and again, this is a little, somewhat different, but it goes to what Margot was saying, just in terms of development and those type of things. Actually, and I did this in Bourne and in Ashland, is, and adding staff is never an easy thing to do, because there's a lot of cost to go with that, but in both town was, and this is more on, not so much on housing, but my last hire, leaving Ashland, was hiring an economic development director, whose sole focus was looking at all the developable parcels in town, commercial and otherwise, and getting an understanding through the LCP and other community forums we had about what do the people in town want to see come in terms of development. And so being in East Harwich is an area of commercial development, right? And I think there's been some big missed opportunities over there because the town really wasn't involved and didn't necessarily have a vision for what type of, economic development it wanted over there, whatever that might look like. So nothing against, I had a construction business, so nothing against lumber yards, but now we have two right next to each other, and was that the best and highest use for the, former Stag dealership there, right? But the town wasn't anywhere in the picture, and it just became a private sale to a private company, and we got what we got. So we're getting tax revenue from that, and they improved the property. That's all. I like that. I see that on the revenue side. But again, it's an example of sometimes how we, sort of we sit back and we get what we get. And the same thing can be true of housing or looking at open space. I think today, the generations today want more open space, active and passive recreation opportunities, right? So, how do we create more of that? Because I think the younger generations, we're planning, with the way I look at it, the decisions we're making today are not for us necessarily, right? It's for 2 and 3 generations in front of us, and we have to understand what it is that's important to them in terms of the various kinds of housing stock, other passive and recreation activities that they're interested in, and how do we create that for them with a forward-thinking, forward-looking approach, knowing that these things take some time to get through. So, we depend a lot, and it was brought up earlier about the amount of volunteers we have and their expertise in a lot of different areas, and we want to tap into that. But at the same time, for those that are, decision makers, have to, take the inputs and do some actionable things on that, or else, people do lose interest and they can get discouraged about the work that they're doing, and we actually don't make progress. So, again, that's more philosophy, since, I'm not on the board. I advise them on a lot of things. So, sometimes having a strategic plan and some of that for select board can be important to know what it is that they're trying to focus on, 3, 5, 10 years, down the line. and had an opportunity to do that with both the Bourne Select Board and the Ashland Select Board, and they're still using those strategic plans today to kind of guide, and everybody can follow along. They can see that, and a lot of that work is built off of the local comprehensive plan, the housing production plan, the open space and recreation plan, right? All those different things, which supposedly are telling us what the community wants in all those really important areas. And so the strategic plan should be informed by all of that. And so it's just trying to coalesce and pull that all together, so.
I gotta watch time, because we have.
Yeah, I know, I got a budget meeting coming up, so.
I mean, you probably got a
yeah,
meeting as well.
It's deep in my
So,
schedule today.
and this is a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
I'd like to get more, but we do have to move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, how could we help you? Let me say one final thing. In my book, and I think the committee would agree, we've had this one piece of parcel. It needs its owners unknown, but it's under threat. Part of it already got lost because we couldn't get anybody to do the owners unknown research. Since it's adjacent to conservation land and directly in the path of the underground water flow to the wells, I just implore you to try to find somebody to do that. I don't expect it a hire in town, but, and I don't like using the legal firms because they charge $130 an hour or whatever, or $160 an hour.
Right.
And my understanding is that, you can get a deed researcher for about $35, okay? Or, that one person could be extremely valuable to the town, not only for this parcel, our number one parcel, but for a bunch of the stuff. When you look at the maps and you say, this is owners unknown, it's crazy,
All right, so I need the specifics on that, right? So
we
I need
can-
somebody to send me the specific
I will-
parcel and,
I can send you the maps.
Yeah,
I can
okay.
present you various parcels. We'll get the list
Sure.
together.
And I have, I have the name of a person who had worked at the registry for over 20 years, who said they would be glad to do.
So,
yeah, I mean, some of this we
Pass
have,
that
I
along.
have to look at the mechanisms
Yeah.
or whatever. But if you can send me that, and then if you can share whatever your most recent prioritized list that you have, if it's 2021 or if there's a later version of that. Because some of this stuff I'll be collecting to certainly pass on to whoever takes over from me here in another couple months, so.
the
Okay,
feeling is if we can get it started, it will continue on through the next administrator, because I understand you like
Yeah,
to get
it'll-
thing done.
yeah, there's a long list right now,
And that's why I
so,
wanted to have
yeah.
you here before.
That's okay.
We will definitely have something for you no later than right after our next meeting.
Sure.
Maybe something, we've got it together, it's just, we should probably make a final decision on that.
Okay,
All right.
very good, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tony.
It's been a wonderful conversation. Sorry to cut that one off,
No, that's okay.
but we do have to move on. Next on the agenda is some old business, the famous select board parcels stuff. Mike, you like to come up and explain what happened on Monday night for those of you who may not have watched the video and understood what happened there?
Wait. What are you on?
If you can do this quick.
So you're skipping down to here? Oh. Well, you got it.
This
Okay. All right.
Mike, go
Good
ahead.
morning. Good morning, Michael Locke, Executive Director, Harwich Conservation Trust. So this past Monday evening, at the Select Board meeting, I provided a presentation based on our topic we have been discussing in our meeting together during your open sessions about the select board controlled parcels for proposed transfer of custody to either the Conservation Commission or the Board of Water Wastewater Commissioners. And the Select Board listened, asked several questions, and was favorable to the effort moving forward. And so the result was moving forward with a draft warrant article and associated documents to be sent to the interim town administrator, who will then work with the select board and town council on advancing the proposal along the next steps. It may or may not involve another meeting with the select board. I think we'll wait to hear from the interim town administrator on that aspect once we have generated a draft town meeting warrant article. So it was great. It was a positive step forward. I did mention during the meeting that you would be considering a formal vote endorsing this effort today. Did you want to add anything, Dave? Or Margot?
No,
You were
I-
both there.
You know, it was a very positive meeting. I mean, the board was,
So for my notes here, I'm trying to write this. So the draft, does the select board do that, or is the ad hoc committee doing that?
Harwich Conservation, I offered through Harwich Conservation Trust
Okay.
to provide a draft warrant article that supports the presentation of the selected parcel for transfer of custody.
and that's based on town meeting articles from Brewster.
Thank you for that, yes. So circa 2012, as you know, there was a similar project completed by the town of Brewster. And so we're using that template of the warrant article.
Save the town money, saves the town time. All they have to have is the article reviewed rather than written.
That's
by-
right.
By town selectmen. So that's part of the value that HCT is providing into this transfer process, for which the article will be written in such a way that HCT gets a conservation restriction on all of the conservation land, not on the water quality.
Correct, that's a good distinction. Yeah.
So the conservation parcels would have HCT doing the monitoring, so Conservation Department is not responsible for it. Is that
I think working in collaboration with the
In collaboration.
Conservation Department.
But I know that,
Mhm.
Amy told me last week that she has a staffing problem to be able to do what they already have.
Mhm.
No, not as, in terms of time?
We're good.
Well, I thought you said you didn't want to do the ones around the, the neighborhood because of the typical encroachment. You weren't happy about that, or or did I misinterpret you? I'm sorry?
I'll come up and clarify.
Okay.
Amy Osowski, Conservation Administrator. So I was talking about these, like, the little fingers of land, the 20 or 40-foot wide fingers that a lot of developments are required to have, that those present a big challenge
Yep.
for us. So I wasn't too excited maybe about taking on some of that, but the other ones,
The other one- oh, no.
certainly,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
No, but we're fully staffed right now. We're very fortunate. We have Meg, our assistant agent, a part-time executive assistant. We work a lot with the trust.
Yep.
And we have an AmeriCorps member who is going to be helping with the monitoring as well.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
You did bring up the fact that it was the Headwaters project was a classic example of a challenge, and I understand, because the first time I went up there to do one of the HCT parcels for Boundary Quest, yeah, the whole line was a mess. So, but-
One of the recommendations in the local comprehensive plan is that the cluster development bylaw be revised to provide more meaningful open space, not just those little, perimeters or
Yeah.
fingers
Yeah.
around the edge of the development. So hopefully that will happen at some point. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got comments or questions?
Did you get any pushback on any of the individual parcels?
No.
No?
A couple of things. One, you had asked at a previous meeting about the sand pond property. That was removed from, we did look at it as part of the committee. This is the one
Next to the parking lot.
Thatcher, and
Yeah.
we discussed it and pulled it out because it said specifically in that deed that it was for recreation. So the town took it for recreation. And the other deeds don't have anything wording like that, so it would make the deed transfer a little, you'd have to have a separate transfer for that one. I believe that the plan that we had discussed was that there was gonna be one deed transferring all of these little disparate parcels from select board, and it was clear title, there was nobody else who was competing on the existing deeds, and I think that's why we kind of pulled it out. It doesn't mean that we can't do that in the future, and I think there was one other that we pulled out for pretty much the same reason. There was, the deed was just, it was the stuff around Skinnecourt Pond, the north,
That's right.
south parcel,
Yes.
was another one that had been set aside for Affordable Housing Trust, or no, for the Housing Authority. And it turns out that it's not buildable, probably not buildable, okay? But again, it's a deed, it could be controversial because of, for that purposes. And
Okay.
we didn't want controversies going here. I
That might be
created enough of those problems.
Future phase. Maybe it's a future phase to
Well,
look more
right.
closely at those types.
Right. It was just,
Yeah.
we wanted this to be no-brainer type operations, so.
Okay.
So that was that. And the other thing was, have you been satisfied about the money issue with going back to CPC for the parcel?
The Hinckley's Pond thing?
Pardon?
For the Hinckley's Pond one?
For the Hinckley's Pond parcel?
Yeah, I mean, I've had back and forth with the finance department, and they just haven't moved the money yet.
But you're,
I'm okay
you
with
know
it.
it's coming, she's okay, all right.
We voted, whatever, we voted, and they just haven't caught up with the paperwork yet. Even as, I just got a new Munis report the other day, still hadn't been moved, but, or rescinded, but it will be.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other issues, Carol?
So just an idea of moving forward. So HCT is going to compose the warrant, and then what happens after that? And so the warrant's going to include everything on the maps that we were
That's right.
reviewed, yeah.
So my understanding is that the interim town administrator will review with the select board. They will probably send it to town council soon after, if not before their own board review, and then make adjustments as necessary. Maybe they'll request another meeting with Harwich Conservation Trust, or a combination of REOS and Harwich Conservation Trust. I'm going to wait to hear on that. I'll relay anything that I learned to Dave for your committee. Is that your understanding, Dave? That's my understanding at the
Yeah, I
moment.
mean, we'd have to get a draft in by, like, 3 days from now, I think, next
Yes,
Monday.
we're working on it.
They're working
Yeah,
on it.
that template from
And-
Brewster is very helpful.
But that's just a draft. That's just,
Placeholder, a draft for
just a placeholder draft. Right. So I realize that.
Yeah.
And so now it gets down to the fine of refining it and so forth and getting it. Because I don't know what the deadline is to get it before town meeting, but it's February, March, something like that.
They have to do it before they can print the warrant.
Before they can print the, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of review that yet is to come, and so we should be getting some feedback on that.
Dick, so the warrant article, though, it's not sponsored by HCT, right? It's
Good
an
question.
article that the Board of Selectmen are putting forward. Is that
We
true?
are asking the
Okay.
select board
Yeah.
to sponsor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Just want to clarify that
Yeah,
for
right.
Carol.
And
Yeah.
the committee would be writing a letter
Yeah.
of recommendation after this vote we take, pass it, to these other parcels,
Okay.
and outline those real well for them, and that would be go through. So it's just a stage, and there's more stages to come, but
And if this moves forward, which we hope it does, and it's going to go to town meeting, will we try to provide some kind of documentation for people at town meeting that explains, what we're doing.
That's a great idea.
With benefits, I think that's the most important thing is, so they understand the benefits. Like this is protecting, well field number such and such. This is, protecting, underground, whatever. This is protecting, blah, blah, blah. And that's the reason we want to move it to be under the water department or under conservation. We talked about it providing further protections, but I think people need to understand why.
We have that, right? I mean, Kelly did a spreadsheet that documented the attributes of each parcel that made it get sorted into which pile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
One of the keys for town meeting is to have a marketing plan.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
And figure out how you're going to do it. I don't think we have anything firmed up at this point. I mean.
But we have time, I'm just saying, I think it's important.
Agreed.
I would like to see an open meeting, to make a presentation. One person shows up and be happy. If nobody shows up, I'm even happier. But, yeah, just because of time. But, the idea is to not just assume, this is going to just flow through the system. That being said, we've seen a number of things that we thought would be controversial before town meeting, and it's, it goes through without a word, so, some people like to speak for every article. Don't get up. It's like,
Some people do.
never know. It's always an adventure.
We're glad to help organize that information.
So,
Yeah.
okay? Yeah.
Question. Do you think that the number of parcels that you're talking about, that you're going to give an explanation as to why they were chosen, do you think it's going to be kind of overwhelming? There's so many.
I don't think so, because these have been pretty clear in terms of their natural resource significance, whether it's public water supply recharge or wetland habitat presence or other natural resource values. So it seems with the properties that we've reviewed and selected, I think it's pretty clear.
Okay.
And Brewster was even more parcels, just looking back at their experience, and it went pretty smoothly.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but I think this point of providing information, education is important in advance of town meeting as the process unfolds. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to go to town meeting with that whole presentation, because it takes too long.
No, I didn't mean
And
that,
so
but I'm just saying,
This is the marketing plan, it's like, how do you get that
Yeah.
information so you don't get those questions?
Explain the rationale.
And explain the rationale, and, maybe it's just a website, webpage or something. That's something I think the committee needs to talk about, strategies for that. Clearly, letters in the
Yeah.
newspaper.
And I might say too that, I know this is going to sound silly, but, a little, couple sentence glossary, because people don't know what a recharge area is. People don't know what a zone of contribution is.
Yep.
And so they just need to understand that. I mean, before they read something like this.
Yeah, why it's
So they can
important.
understand, that's all.
It's education.
Good
It's
idea.
education. That's the reason I say a marketing program.
Yeah.
Be able to get out there and, so that they can make an informed decision.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, with that, can I have a motion to, that we want to pass this letter on to, or the draft letter that we brought up a couple of months ago, or that's just what a letter would be drafted and sent to the Board of Selectmen, or Select Board, excuse me, to advocate, our positive feelings about these parcels that we've been reviewing for the last couple of months.
I move that the Real Estate and Open Space Committee vote to support the joint effort of the ad hoc committee to identify and classify municipal properties, existing municipal properties under the control of the selectmen, to the pertinent town departments.
I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Nothing else? Then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sounds like unanimous to me.
I'm a no.
Huh?
I'm a no.
You're a no.
No.
Okay.
I just, I don't like the whole list. Some of it I think is great, but some of it I think it's taking it away from maybe future affordable housing, just maybe.
Okay.
But it takes it away. So for that reason, I'm again.
I thought you would raise that during discussion.
Pardon?
I thought you would raise that during discussion, but
What discussion?
about what was just going on here. What? Because,
Before,
Yeah,
Before
I did
the-
raise it at our meeting when we went through
nobody
everything.
meant just now, just
I'm
now.
raising it now. Oh,
Okay,
oh.
Before,
It's
before he
okay.
asked for the
I didn't know, I did not know
okay.
that anyone was going to move it
Okay,
that quickly.
okay.
all right,
All right, thanks, everyone.
thank you very much.
Keep moving forward.
Amy?
Sorry. Should have done this during discussion, but if you need a forum for public outreach, feel free and contact me. The Conservation Commission could be a forum. We often have presentations at the beginning of our meetings. Also, prior to town meeting for the more in-depth warrant articles, I know that the Harwich channel, I believe it's the Harwich channel, and Dinah, their interviewer, that Mike typically sits down with, will do more of an in-depth video of articles, so people can get more of an
That's a good idea.
understanding.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people watch the station, so.
Okay, good idea.
Okay, thank you very much, Amy. Okay, next thing on the agenda was the maps.
No,
No,
you
we
have
need
to do
to
this
change the
vote.
reps.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the vote first. And you showed it to me before.
So did we skip over that final version of the proposal to be presented to the select board?
Well, that was actually done beforehand.
What do you mean beforehand?
Before our meeting.
Before,
They went
it
to the
was,
selectmen last Monday.
it was done Monday. What happened was that when the agenda went out, was before I realized that we were on the agenda, on the select board agenda, which I think I found, was it Friday? Because this agenda was posted on Thursday, and I found out on Friday that in fact it was being presented to the select board on Monday. And that was being done to move things along faster. So the select board did not have our letter as a letter of support at that time. But because, as Mike said, there may be another meeting, they will be receiving it now.
Right, I thought we were going to go through the maps again today, the final version, but,
Well, when I was talking about the maps for today is really to go.
oh, I know those maps, right.
Go through the current maps and what's changed.
Right, that's old business number 2.
Yes.
All right, we already voted, so it's moved now.
Well, I think I put the final version in, is in here. It was something, that was basically what we discussed last week, our last meeting.
Okay, you took out those last 2 files and,
The last two, without the last two, that were inadvertently put in that presentation. They shouldn't have been, because they had already been removed. I'm sorry about that, Carol. I'm not looking at my notes close enough.
so I thought that was when I would have a chance to
Okay.
bring up my questions.
sorry.
But, okay.
Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about the map.
First, do the vote about the ad hoc
What's it?
committee. The ad
Yeah.
hoc committee vote, do that
Oh, we have
first.
to do the vote on the
Yeah,
ad hoc committee.
s- resolve that.
That was another thing. See, I didn't get a chance this morning to look at
Tis,
plan this well. I drive myself crazy. Carol pointed out, after our last meeting, she had attended the open meeting law. Carol, do you want to talk about what you discovered at that point?
That if there are two members on an ad hoc committee, it's not an ad hoc committee. If there's two members of another committee on the ad hoc, it's not an ad hoc committee, it's a committee and needs to be publicized like this committee and any other.
So the two of us being selected by REOS to be members of this ad hoc committee that Mike has put together made it a subcommittee of REOS.
So,
And therefore, it had to be, you had to publish an agenda,
Right.
you had to have, open meetings in
Minutes.
a public place, and you had to publish minutes afterwards.
all right, so I'll make
So
a motion
I-
to rescind the June 2025 vote for two REOS representatives to the ad hoc committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I'll make a motion to vote one member to represent REOS to the ad hoc committee.
I nominate Dave.
And that nomination would be Dave.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None?
All right, moving on.
Thank you very much. I had a big, long discussion with Emily about it. I was
Okay.
just, you gotta be kidding.
No,
Two people get together, and it's suddenly a committee of this. I thought it would be the majority of us, like, apparently not.
I always thought it had to be a quorum.
Huh?
I thought it had to be a quorum.
I thought it had to be a
for
quorum too,
problem.
yeah. And it's like, all right.
Live and learn.
Yep, that's all we can do. So we've taken the formal stuff. So let's talk about this year's analysis maps. And I'm not going to go through them in detail. If you want copies of the KML files for your Google Earth, I am happy to share it. But I decided that, and I didn't want to put it up here on the screen because it's just too small to really see. But I thought I'd show you 3 areas of town that we have discussed repeatedly over recent years. And of course, I'm starting here with East Harwich, and I decided to show how it's changed in the last year. And before it had a lot of owners unknown, it had tax liens and everything else. It turns out that is all now belongs to the estate of Paul Cuddy.
The sand pit.
okay. So
Sand
could you just orient us for a second?
All right, this is the sand pit area.
The top or the, both?
Both.
Both of them.
Okay, it's showing a change.
you what
Okay,
we were looking at
okay.
last year, and the bottom says, this is how it looks now.
So what you're saying is the brown, or not brown, but the kind of yellowy
Right, the
brown,
tan stuff.
the mustard sort of color, that is now been clarified to be in the Cuddy estate.
Yes, it
Because
is.
it's always been sort of like out there that Paul Cuddy said he owned this, but it wasn't, there weren't the deeds
Accessory,
attached, blah, blah, blah. And so what they've done is they've done the research and they've come up with the stuff and,
The assessors accepted it
Yep.
belonging to them.
Now it's
and
clarified.
It looks to
Okay.
me like, liens that, existed before have been resolved in some cases, and,
okay.
it
And is the
basically fell out.
top yellow and now it's green? Is that,
The top yellow.
yeah, this yellow
This,
one right
this.
here,
Oh, the one to the
and now it's
left, on the
green.
left-hand side is.
That's Hawk's Nest, isn't
Jude
it?
Eldridge.
That's Jude Eldridge, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. I'm trying to orient myself here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is,
So,
it's 137 and 39 intersection at the
Yeah,
right-hand edge there.
okay.
so just wanted you to be aware of that one. On the next page is the Great Woods Hopeless HCT acquisition. You'll notice that the pink area was the owners unknown area. And at that point, this was about 76 acres. And that has changed where the whole, not the whole, the northwest corner appears to be Harwich Conservation Trust, is in green. That is not 100% correct. And what this has shown to me is that there is an error which appears to be in the mapping process. Okay? There's actually, if you look down at the bottom of that area, there's kind of like a little teardrop. They were considering, the mapping has it as a single parcel. So if I turned off the turn off HCT's ownership on that, the teardrop disappears on the upper one. And it's that kind of like, it's the parcel that resides, or is adjacent to Route 6, and then goes south back down to Annie's Pond. That does, the trust does not have that. That's still owners unknown. But it and that teardrop are tied together as a single parcel.
So,
So I've got to I'll work with the assessor to make those.
but the change in the map so that the yellow parcels,
Do you have
Oh,
this
I
map?
got a copy of that, Mike, if you want.
the yellow parcels that are on the top of the map, of the second map, or the bottom map,
Yes.
the yellow ones.
The yellow
Are
parcel.
those parcels that are on our list? Yes, okay, that's what I
Those are going to
thought.
be transferred over
Okay.
To the conservation.
So when we look at this and we look at the change, the owners unknown, which is the pink, has gotten smaller.
Yes, it has.
But it is surrounded by either town or HCT currently, land that's currently protected.
Yes.
So this whole pink area, it would be, advantageous for us to pursue that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this would be one of those
Yep,
things.
just trying to get my bearings here.
After the little shaver property. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this was priority number 2.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not as big as.
Yeah, it's
we
not
thought
as
it
big, but we've been eating away at it the right way versus things being eaten away the wrong way.
Right, absolutely. Well, and remember that parcel up there along Route 6, that, it's kind of like an L shape upside down.
Yeah.
That's really should be pink as well. That should be pink.
Wait a minute, where are we?
So why?
Because HCT does not own it. It's an error in the map.
Okay, which parcel are you talking about?
Yeah, where are you
This would be this parcel,
Oh, right there.
Yeah,
it's an upside
Okay.
down.
Wait a minute, let me see.
Okay.
Huh?
name,
I didn't see
This,
where you
this
meant.
parcel here.
I think.
I just want, I'm trying to
this.
point out the fact that we're still making corrections to the maps,
Okay.
to the assessor's database.
Yeah.
We are getting much, much better at it, okay? And I'm impressed, with the work that Carly did on the Putty parcels. That was a lot of work to straighten it out. And when I find these problems, she and I have a spreadsheet that we're working on in terms of trying to, okay, this is a problem within your database, this is a problem within the CIA mapping designations. And so, but they keep getting clearer and clearer. The third part.
Dave, just one
go
quick
ahead.
question. Why is the former Copolis property in a different color than, say, Cornelius Pond Woodlands?
Good question.
Oh, because, I'm trying to remember, Mike, does the town, this could be you're right, this could be a mapping, my mapping problem. Unless it's, the Great Woods, is this, well, is it all CR property up there?
It is.
It is. That's what it is.
LCR between the town and DCR.
So that's an additional overlay on the darker
Yeah, that's,
green?
yeah, it's really,
So-
Okay.
That might be why.
yeah,
okay.
one of
That's good.
the problems
Okay.
in ArcGIS, where we actually do here, I use hatching.
Yeah,
When I move it over to Google Earth, Google Earth doesn't allow an overlay
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So I have to play crazy game with, okay, to make sure that it shows properly, I change a layer, make it semi-transparent, and put that 10 meters above the other property. And so you should be seeing things through it, and it's
yeah.
not coming out.
So, Dave, is this saying that very few homeowners of record own land on Cornelius Pond that directly abut Cornelius Pond?
Yes, so it's been that way.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
there's a development down here.
right, I know which one that is, sure.
But, yeah, the upper lobe
Yeah.
of the pond is not developed.
Which is completely dry right now anyway, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
I know, it's
Yeah.
very dry. I was there a couple weeks ago. Okay, all right. And what's the third one?
the third one is HCT's purchase of the Thatcher Bog.
Yeah, I thought so.
And that's a,
Well, that moved in the right direction. That moved in the right direction.
we got one of them. So, and this is just three of them. I could, I'm still spending my hours and looking to see what might have changed.
Right. Just for clarification, the parcel or the area that you were speaking with the town administrator about at the end of the conversation was regarding Little Shaver?
Little Shaver.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yes.
We have
Say that again?
Little Shaver,
Little shaver.
right. It's across the street from the the water tower, and it abuts Water
Field.
Department, Thompson's Field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
off of 39.
Thank
If you look at, it's between Thompson's Field and the end of Turtle Run.
Yeah,
And
is a new little street. That was the
south
other
of Little Shaver Lane and the Water Department parcel.
okay.
Well, this is great, Dave. Good for you for, I'd love to have the files.
Okay. Anybody else? I sent it to Carol.
Yep.
And I've had to I make some change to it because of, as I'm using it, I'm realizing that there is just things that
Right.
need correction.
So, is there a legend telling us what the colors denote?
I was making these last night.
Yeah.
It was one of the.
Or will there be, I should say?
And I realized afterwards, I should have put a legend on them. And you can put a legend on a thing like this for, in Google. It's just that I haven't done it in a year and I can't remember.
Well, can we just say
But in.
yellow is,
Well, that's what the legend does. It shows.
right, but can we just say that right now so we know?
So basically, looking on the first page,
Okay, so yellow,
the yellow is,
owners unknown?
No.
no, that's, yellow
It's
is selectmen.
municipal.
Because
Yellow
I
is
noticed that
Board of
that
Selectmen
parcel- That's right, now I see why Kathy was referring to it. It's green down below,
Oh, yeah.
because the town finally acquired it and gave it to conservation, well.
Oh, so green is
They actually
conservation.
owned it in 2024, but the assessor hadn't put it in as conservation. And so my map showed it as yellow. I go back to Carly and say,
Right.
here's the deed, it says it's for conservation. Oh, thank you very much, okay? Now this year, because I'm getting a fresh copy of the database when the maps are made, then it shows up now.
All right.
So
But for Carol's purposes, since she needs to include this with the minutes,
Yeah.
or, right?
Pink
She needs
is,
to know that the light yellow is usually municipal board of selectmen.
It's select board,
Right.
that's,
Yeah.
okay.
And that,
green is conservation, pink
Green- well-
is,
well,
There's many
different-
greens.
There's the thing is, there's
Oh,
different
God.
greens, because there's a dark green, which is HCT.
okay,
There's a lighter green, which is the town conservation. And if you're looking at that first page, you'll see that there's a slightly different green, which is Hawksness Pond, which is Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation.
That one's teal, so, teal green. Teal.
okay,
Yep.
teal, okay, got it.
Now,
And pink, just do pink.
Oh, and
Huh?
pink.
Pink is,
Pink is owners unknown,
okay.
okay?
And what's brown? That's,
The brand is the tan, on that slide, that is
private.
Cuddy.
Right, no, but I meant the other brown. That's mustard.
Oh, the
Where's
other brown, that stuff up there. Well,
Oh.
basically you run out of colors here. Some,
Oh, you mean
the
this one
challenge,
here?
the challenge is some of that stuff is Bob Freitas.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff up there is the native land
Conservancy?
conservancy.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Some of that, yeah. So
That's
and it
Army
looks to me like
Green.
a nature land it could be.
So is it identified on your map because it's undeveloped? Because,
No, it's
Okay.
it's identified on the map because I tell it to color it.
okay,
And it's because the objectives of the maps were to say, who are our large landholders? I mean,
okay,
And, what is it they're trying to do?
okay.
And Cuddy was clearly trying to get the East Harwich sand pit area.
Mhm.
And then,
But this one,
Copeless was trying to get the end of Spruce Road.
this one should show up as green now, Dave, because it's now the Native Land Conservancy owns
I know,
it.
but see, I've got to look at that one, because I thought the color was going to come out different, because
Yeah.
it should have come out that way, so.
Yeah,
Didn't the Cuddy Estate just sell some property too recently
uh,
to the guy from One Source?
Could be.
what's one source?
That's
I
the
wasn't aware of
people who bought Stag,
Oh, okay.
yeah, behind him.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out.
Thought I saw that.
You
Well,
okay, Carol, with
Well, they
colors?
may, yeah, I'm trying to think about something that was behind them. Because there's, looking at that, that would be, if you're looking from the southwest, or southeast corner there, it's green,
Yeah,
pink, there's an, that's some owners, and I don't know whom. And then there's a brown parcel that would have been Cuddy, that may be the parcel that they've sold them, but it doesn't really front on the, that's more towards the back of RPM Carpets versus Stag.
right, but, yeah, okay.
So
Just-
I wasn't aware that,
Yeah.
how do you find out about all of these things?
I read the real estate transfers and stuff like that.
So,
I don't, I usually scan them, I look for the roads and I.
You watch the Board
I
of
missed that
Selectmen
one.
meetings, I look at the real estate transfers.
so,
That's why we have this committee, isn't it? We're probably,
so the maroon color is,
the maroon color,
and then there's like the brown maroon right next to it.
Right,
I know.
What's the difference between them?
Carol, let me, I can't rep all the numbers off myself. I'm looking at the parcels, there's, I know that some of it is, there's tax liens against it, some of it's something else, and I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. Without,
But, I mean,
Some of them, you know what it could be, is some of the owner's unknown parcels were also tax lien parcels.
yes,
And if you overlay those two colors, the
Ah.
pink and the brown, you probably get different shades of brown. I'm just guessing
Yeah,
here,
okay.
but that seems
That's very-
likely.
I'm thinking this kind of maroon color
Yeah,
is that situation,
yeah,
that those are still under tax liens.
yeah.
And the one that's a little bit redder, then, I don't know offhand. But,
so I'll just
A lot
put the
of
ones we know, and the rest will come out as they come
well,
out.
look, after the meeting, if you wish, I can generate one of these maps that will have the whole legend, or I could just do the legend, cut the legend out and just
Yeah,
send out
yeah.
the legend. Probably
I
the
think
best
that
way.
would be useful, just to
And so
have the legend
I'll
as,
try to do
you
that.
know.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right, but we'd have to present that at the next meeting, because it wouldn't occur during this meeting, so I couldn't put it in the minutes.
So you have to put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Oh, to describe the agenda? Is that, or put it in the agenda to describe the legend?
Well, I'll make my notes, and then you can correct them. How's that?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Whatever works.
good way. to
It
do
worked last month, so.
Yeah, all right, Carol.
Okay.
Now, from that point on, member reports, we got about 7 minutes here. Is anybody got anything else that they want to talk about? CPC?
CPC. No, we, as you know, the application deadline was October 1st. We have 11 applications, only one for use of open space funds. And the open space bucket is, has money in it, thanks to sort of a reshifting of kind of things and getting the land grant money back into the right bucket. So that's good. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is that Elaine and I met and worked on the executive committee minutes from 2019 to now and spent quite a lot of time on it.
Well, only
And,
because Elaine was
that's
not as prepared
Another
as she
one of
should
the
have been.
subsequent meetings when we have time, we'll present them for, review and that kind of thing, so, and acceptance, and then we can file them.
I'd put it on the agenda for December.
Okay,
But
great.
if that's all it is,
Yeah.
in December, it'll go on to the next.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
great.
just going to say the ones that are available to be released. We're not actually so if anything comes up, we'll vote to,
Just wanted to know that
Release
we
them.
worked on it and that it'll bring us right up to date.
yeah.
Good, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Tedious work.
Anyone else? Brad, you got anything on your mind? Okay. Everybody else is kind of cool? All right. I don't have much to report other than I don't know what I'm doing these days. I just jump from project to project and then,
There's a lot going on.
wait a second, I'm working on a different project, I'm looking at a different screen.
All right, do you want a motion to adjourn?
They're starting to go. So can I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, next meeting date is for December 19th. So it's on there, we're, hopefully, who knows? Who knows what'll happen between now and then?
Just in terms of a follow-up item, are you going to send Tony the memo from when we made our presentation to the selectmen on the priority properties?
I will,
Make a note.
I gotta put something together for that, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I will take care of informing him.
If you need help with that, let me know, because
Well-
I probably have it in my files
Well, if
someplace.
you got something in your files, I won't have to search for them.
Okay, I'll look.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Right, that's on the notes. That'll be on the notes, too, right? You're going to send the details of the most recent priority list, right?
Yeah.
The most recent, yeah, yep.
Okay.
So, you got a question?
No, I was just going to,
Okay. All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.